In an ever-changing landscape where habitat loss and degradation are happening across the globe, I am finding hope right here in my hometown. A year ago, last month, the City Parks and Recreation Department of Brenham, Texas, opened the Crossover Nature Trail at one of our local parks. Needless to say, I was over the moon when I heard the city had plans to create a nature trail, but I was also shocked. In a small Texas town where sports are huge in the community, I never dreamt they'd choose to enhance an almost 80-acre park that is one giant multi-sport complex with something to support nature and wildlife. Granted, the trail is only 0.59 of a mile. It winds through 5 acres of forest and a small open field. It's a definite win in my birder heart. There are many environments to explore, such as a bog wetland area, a grassy field, forested areas, and a pollinator garden. The design of the trail system is both recreation and education. They've mounted signage throughout the area explaining the different plants, mammals, birds, reptiles, and pollinators that might be seen along the trails. As far as I can tell, they've left as much of the existing trees and vegetation as they could while installing the crushed granite trails and the elevated faux wood walkway above the wetland area. Most of the vegetation they removed was pushed deeper into pockets of the forest, creating dense wildlife habitat. The Crossover Nature Trail is the result of a local park grant program project, funded in part from a portion of the state sales tax on sporting goods administered by the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department. I'm inspired by the city's decision to enhance this natural area because they very well could have cleared it and added a new playground or, gasp, another parking lot for the sports complex. Now, the trail officially opened in July 2023, and as I walk through the nature area this summer, I get a sense the wildlife populations are slow to recover. I try not to focus on what wildlife was driven out during the trail's installation process, and instead remain hopeful that in time the wildlife will return. I see the potential and promise of the park, and I can envision what the nature area will be like once it matures. I can almost hear a forest full of birdsong as I stroll down the trail. Soon, it will be a birder's pocket of delight. A month ago, as I crossed over the wooden bridge at the trail's entrance, I observed 2 barred owls at the edge of the creek below me. Of course, they had spotted me first. I froze, not wanting to startle them. A woman started to tromp on the bridge behind me, and I put my hand up, signaling her to go slowly, and said, "Shh, there's owls." I expected her to tiptoe toward me so that she could too witness the spectacular sight. Instead, she whirled around and walked in the opposite direction. Apparently, she wasn't there to see birds. At first, I was flabbergasted. How can someone not be excited to see owls? But I had to remind myself, not everyone is a nature nerd like me. And at least she didn't continue her bridge stomping and frighten the poor birds away. I really hate to think how I would have reacted had she done that. Yes, I am that person, the one who wants to protect all the birds, no matter what people think of me. Last week, after walking 2 miles at the park, I ventured over to the nature trail to see what I could see. The white-eyed vireos called from all directions. I didn't have my binoculars, so I didn't even try to spot them. I merely wandered and listened. They will be headed south here pretty soon, and I will miss them until they return late next spring. An eastern cottontail bunny crossed the path in front of me. Before it scurried into the thicket, I got a perfect view of its backside, with its adorable, fluffy cotton bottom. The northern cardinals are prolific in the area, so it's no surprise that they have adapted quickly to the new nature trail. Both males and females of the species seem to be unbothered by human activity, making them easy to spot and observe. I counted 21 along the trail that morning. The fall webworm's tented webs hang from lower tree limbs along the trail. I smile, knowing they'll do little to no damage to the trees themselves, but provide a tasty treat for various wildlife. Heading west on the trail, I emerge into an open, grassy field where they are creating the pollinator garden. I'm greeted by cloudless sulfurs, several queen butterflies, orange and brown skippers, a gorgeous pipevine swallowtail butterfly on a button bush, and two ruby-throated hummingbirds. I don't linger long in the pollinator garden, as it's August, hot, and the sun is relentless. The trail back down is covered by a dense tree canopy, and I'm thankful for the shade. As I near the end of the trail, I see a red-shouldered hawk drop from a tree limb to the forest floor and out of sight. I pause, waiting for it to appear again. Several seconds later, it returns to its perch with a skinny snake. From my location, it looks like a garter snake, but I can't be certain. A moment later, the bird takes flight, screaming a victory call, with its prey dangling from its talons. I can almost hear it saying, "Lunch." Sometimes I double back and walk the trail again, going in the opposite direction. But on that particular day, I was hot and tired from my previous 2 miles, and I didn't have my binoculars. I'm looking forward to autumn and cooler days to explore the nature trail. I'm thrilled with the project's outcome and filled with joy that my hometown chose to keep a bit of green space for the birds and other wildlife. This little pocket nature area gives me hope that not all is lost.